Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming to our first ever Zoom meeting. I really appreciate you taking the time and effort to navigate the virtual technicalities of coming to this sort of meeting. It was quite a steep hill for me to climb, and I hope it wasn't as difficult for you. In these unprecedented times, I am fortunate that technical difficulties and not being able to see my family and friends like you are the worst of it. I'd like to take a moment to think about all the people who it's much worse that they have lost loved ones, they've lost their livelihoods, and the people that have had to put themselves on the front lines to provide and care for all the rest of us. We owe these people all our deepest gratitude and well wishes for their well-being. We here, all our staff, we definitely miss being at the Rancho. As much as we love the site, what we really miss is seeing all of you amazing volunteers that show up on a regular basis to take care of the gardens, tend to the collections, greet visitors, lead tours, make things for the museum shop, serve as board members, serve on committees. It's all of you amazing people that make Rancho Los Cerritos the cherished public treasure that it is. It's very unfortunate that we had to postpone tonight's volunteer appreciation dinner, but I'm pretty excited about this program that we have for you tonight. We have an educational component, we have games. It's going to be very engaging. So let's get on with the show. Here's Allison and the rest of the staff.
Hi everyone, it is great to see everyone here this evening on our first virtual session together. While it isn't the same as seeing each other on site, we do get to see each other, which is wonderful. As you all know, staff is working remotely from home, and while it started as a challenge, everyone is seeing this as an opportunity to embrace technology and to move some of our amazing content online, such as Long Ago Long Beach, garden highlights, and exhibits. Staff is also using Teams, a Microsoft program that lets us collaborate in real time as well, which is a lot of fun. And then currently we are planning on working remotely through May 15th, and we are following the guidance of our Long Beach mayor, who is following the guidance of Governor Newsom. We will continue to follow that guidance as we move forward in these new times. That said, we do want to go back on site and eventually open up the beautiful Rancho doors to the public. Will it look the same as it did before? Unfortunately, no. However, we are working on plans on how to roll out the Rancho to the public. And right now that working goal is to open in the summer. While I can't commit to a specific date, that is our goal, and we hope to make that happen. And when we open, it will be a slow rollout of the site, meaning perhaps we only let people into the gardens in limited numbers and then open to the house, etc. Staff is working on a plan that will be presented to the board and then of course to you all. We will keep you updated on progress, and please know that all of you are so incredibly important to the Rancho and the work we do, and we all look forward to seeing each other soon. Our board chair, Susan Weiss, is also with us this evening. Susan, would you like to say a few words?
Can I unmute myself? Yeah. Hi, everyone. I had to unmute myself. I'm not an expert at this yet. But first, I just want to say how much I miss being with all of you in person and being at the Rancho with you this evening. I'm sure it is just absolutely beautiful there, and it would be so wonderful if we could all get there together. And we will, but not this evening. It seems like the whole world is turned upside down since at least I was last at the Rancho. But I realized there are a couple things that are still the same. And one of those is that we have a wonderful staff, and they're doing a fantastic job of figuring out the best way for us to keep the Rancho alive online, virtually, however we can connect. We want to do that. The second thing is how important all of the volunteers are to this organization, because without you, this organization, the Rancho, would not be what it is. You have all given of your time, your talent, and your treasure to the Rancho, and the Rancho is going to need that more than ever going forward. And I think we're going to find, at least I think we're each finding it out individually, and it's going to be important in terms of our relationship with the Rancho, that we have talents, we have things that we didn't realize we have. And we're going to find those, and we're going to bring them and our imagination to the Rancho, and we're going to find the new path forward. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing the rest of the program.
Our staff is also here. So staff, would you please raise your hands and wave to everyone? Now, without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Megan.
Hi, everyone. It looks like we have, oh gosh, almost 50 people on this phone call. How cool is that? I'm super happy to be here tonight as well. We had, as Laura noted, anticipated having our volunteer appreciation dinner this evening. And as you know, if you read Quick Notes, we gave you some awards and some kudos. And then we thought of this volunteer virtual gathering as something more of a brown bag format. So first, we're going to have the education content. We have an incredible slideshow coming up so you can see what's been happening at the Rancho in the living room. Second, we have some virtual games for you to play tonight and a few other fun surprises. And third, we're going to have that much anticipated check-in where you'll all be able to share your screen if you want, and you'll certainly be able to say hello to one another. You can do that now by sending chats to the other attendees and or to staff. And well, gosh, we figured first we better find out where you all are. We can see your names, but we don't know where you are coming from. So I'm going to launch a poll. There you go. It asks whether you're calling in, zooming in from our own Rancho zip code 90807, or pick your most local category. I see some of you voting. All you have to do is click on it and then scroll down and press submit at the end. Are you 90807 or Long Beach or LA County, Orange County, Southern California, outside of California, but in the state, in another state, not even in this country, but in the world? Most people have voted. We'll give you just another 30 seconds or so. Be sure to click end poll when you would like to end the poll. I'm sorry, Mallory, when you would like to end the poll. Ten more seconds to press submit.
Hi, there's only three of you that haven't voted yet. So if you haven't voted, it's your last chance. I'm gonna give you a few more seconds.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and share the poll results. It looks like most people are from Long Beach. Wow, what a surprise. Almost half of you. Well, if I add the 90807, that's far more than half of you. How fun that we have a handful of people right in our own zip code, and almost everyone in Southern California, but someone elsewhere in the world. All right, now we're gonna move on and ask you what you like to, how you volunteer at the Rancho. Now, when we launch this poll, I don't want you to click submit until you've checked every single category in which you volunteer. You can see we have docent, we have gardening, curatorial, garden craft, museum shop, volunteer council, board member, special events, school tours. If we didn't hit your category, you can put it in the chat, but we hope that we have, in fact, hit all of the categories, listed all of the different categories in which our incredible volunteers like to help. I bet some of you click almost every single one of those buttons, and some of you help in a very, very specific way. We love it, one and all. We're in the countdown now. We're going to give you another minute or so to hit submit.
Hey, Megan, while we're waiting for people to vote, I just wanted to say that watching on YouTube, let's see, Sandra is coming from Compton from the previous poll, and Nevada is joining us from Japan. So we do.
Nevada might be the one out of this world. You probably read about her in Quick Notes too. Sorry, in the world, but out of the country. All right, are we about ready to end polling? We have a couple more votes to come in.
From YouTube, we have curatorial, event, and school tour volunteers.
Awesome. We love those YouTubers. All right, Mallory, let's close it out and share the results. We have a lot of docents on the line and a lot of special event helpers. We also have museum shop people and curatorial. We have gardening, we have board members, we have volunteer council. We have people in every single category, and we have some in many, many categories. What a wonderful thing to get this first glimpse of who is on the line. All right, without further ado, I am going to pass it back to Allison, who's going to introduce our guest speaker.
I would love to. Hi, everyone. So as many of you know, one of the wonderful projects we were able to get started is the restoration of the 1930s rooms. The company that we hired to do this restoration work is Millrock. They have restored Llewellyn Jr.'s bedroom, the 1930s living room, the 1930s sleeping porch, including the dumbwaiter, and a little room below the stairs, which is being converted into an 1800s tack room. The work, frankly, they have done is absolutely amazing. And it is my pleasure to introduce you all to Hira and David George, who own Millrock. It is their team that did the work we're about to see. We are so thrilled they are here. I'm going to turn this over to Sarah. Sarah?
Very, very excited to have David and Hira George join us and share the work that they've done with Millrock. It has been so much fun working with them. We've worked very closely over the past couple of years at this point, going through details of what is historically accurate for these rooms, and they have done painstaking research and paid attention to every little detail. So I'm really excited to share that with you. I just wanted to point out that we are opening it to Q&A. So Hira George is going to be giving a presentation of the work that's been completed in the living room. And if you have questions, I encourage you to go to the Q&A section. And so if you hover your mouse, it should be on the bottom part of your Zoom screen. It says Q&A, and you could type your questions in there. I'll be monitoring that, and then we'll be answering your questions at the end of Hira's presentation. So without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Hira George.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I first, before I start the slideshow, I want to tell you, I want to thank Allison and Sarah and Alfred and Marie in particular for all their support and help through this. The staff and the volunteers working there for almost 3 months, I got to interact with a lot of you, and it was just a pleasure. David and I have been members of this community for 30 years and involved with the Rancho for a very long time. So I'm not joking when I say I feel like it's our second home. We take great, great, great pride in having worked on this, and we feel like it's a legacy. So it becomes emotional. This was not just a job. This was, we poured everything into this. So I am going to attempt to open up my slideshow. And here we go. And I hope that, uh-oh, where'd it go? Sorry, that's not what I was supposed to open up, sorry. If somebody can nod and let me know that you see the screen, you see the photos, great. So I'm going to start with, I'm moving through this manually, but we started discussing this with Allison and Sarah in 2017. That's how long we've been looking at this. And that's what it looked like the first time I walked into the living room space, looking at the parlor. We started with looking at drawings and the notes from the architect, finding out the materials that they specified and techniques, that were used so that in the replication process we could match all of it. So you'll see a lot of the areas that we had to assess as far as damage and repairs. It wasn't just about painting. There was a lot of infrastructure that had to be addressed as well. So I'm just showing you a few of the before pictures. The first thing we did when we started was we actually got an engineer to design a platform that went over the parlor, because the parlor was not meant to be walked upon. We needed access to the walls and the ceiling. So we built this platform that hovered over the entire structure so we could have our crew up there, and it also became a workspace for us. This is a view from the balcony of that platform that we built. And we also had a rolling scaffolding that allowed us to get access through the whole main portion of the space. This is a perfect photo to show a lot of what's going on. First thing we did was repair the cracks in the walls. We addressed any of the crumbling paint. And if you see, so you see on the top, there was a lot of water damage on the ceiling. I'll address that a little bit later on the walls. And the wood grain trim that you see on the windows and that sill going midway across the room is not actually, well, it's wood, but it was faux painted, I don't know when, to look like wood. But our goal was to find out what the original colors were and match up to that. So you'll see some red tape along the bottom and little squares of red tape. Those were areas in which we scraped away at all the layers of paint to find out what was at the bottom of it all and what the original colors were. Unfortunately, it matched what the architect's notes were. That didn't always happen, but it did in the living room. And you can see one of our employees at the top starting the plastering process. Once we repaired the walls, then we went on to plaster the entire place, cover it with a fresh coat of plaster, smooth, and then go on to painting. This is our process for figuring out what were the colors in 1930. We literally scraped away. So this is the trim underneath the faux wood paint. You can see the dark, what I'm going to call an espresso color. This is on the fireplace mantle. Also, you can see under the faux paint, they used a yellow mustard base, and then under that is the dark color. This is the walls, the mustard. There are about 4 layers of paint in the living room on the lower section. And then up on the top section was about, there were just, I think, 2 layers of paint. And you can see the olive green, which was the original color. What we did for the Rancho was we actually removed a little piece of the wall with the original paint colors and all the different layers, so they'd have that for their archives to show what the progression was over the years. This also allowed us to scan the paints, scan the chips, and have the paints replicated. So the colors were literally exact to what they were. This is also one of my favorite photos because it just shows everything going on. You see at the top, the wall repair. The ceiling in this photo has been touched up where there was that water damage. We've tested all the colors to make sure everybody is happy with what we're about to do. This also gives me the opportunity to let you know that depending on the time of day, the weather, my camera, the photos don't always represent with the exact finishing colors. So understand in your mind that the upper area was the olive green, but where it says mustard brown, both of those are the same color. The whole space would play tricks on our eyes, and I think anybody that walked in knows that. So know that the bottom 2 paint colors were identical, but they just never appear the same. So you may see some skewed colors in some of the photos moving forward. I also provided, for historical purposes, this in reference in case they need touch-up. Aside from the paint, we left them. They got color swatches like this with the formulas. Once we assessed the paint color, then we were able to go ahead and plaster all of the walls. And these are some finished images. Not only was the paint addressed, but we also did a lot of woodwork. All of the windows were removed. All of the wood was cleaned with a vinegar water solution to remove any of the residue that had accumulated over the years. A lot of woodwork was repaired. And this is in the window box that's facing the lawn. The transom needed to be functional. It some time ago was abandoned and not functional. So we rebuilt all the hardware there. And what we did is literally all of the hardware, and this goes for all of the rooms that we worked on throughout the house, we removed the hardware, had everything either repaired or polished. In this case, these pieces are brass. The hinges, these are all the window hinges. The pins are steel, so those are brass plated again. And then we repaired and put everything back in place functional. If we couldn't find the hardware, sometimes pieces were missing. We either scrounged through every antique hardware store in America, online or in person, or we purchased something new that was a facsimile of. But for the most part, we were able to work with everything that was original to the premises. So that's the finished window box area. Same thing for the doors. All the locks, all the knobs were disassembled, repaired, lubricated, and then polished and replaced. The floors were originally oak floors. We repaired any of the damage and the dings and the holes. We sanded the floors, stained them, and then they were given 2 coats of a high traffic sealant, so they can hold up to many, many, many visitors. The ceiling was quite the project. So this ceiling was just, I don't know, it was, there, aside from the water damage you could see on the top left, there was a lot of, the wood grain was just not even. And there were some different kinds of stains. So what we did was we actually hand cleaned the entire ceiling, again with the vinegar water mixture. So everything au naturel wherever possible. These are, again, pictures of the wood ceiling originally. There's that damage. This is the biggest problem area. And then we had our artist, Beth, who's actually a scenic artist, a theatrical scenic artist, go in, hand paint all of the beams to sort of blend everything together, make it feel more even. And I know this photo looks dark on the left and the far right, but actually if you go in person, the ceiling is much more even. After it was hand painted, then it was clear coated with just a low luster paint to give it finish. So again, this is a good little before after, and that's what it looks like now. So it has a really luxurious feel, but it still has that old country feel that it had. The fireplace is everybody's favorite zone. So this is what it looked like when we first walked in. And there you go. It had a lot of char. It had all kinds of stuff burned into it. Probably 2 weeks worth of scrubbing with vinegar and water or a mixture of baking soda. We got the bricks cleaned after that. Also the hearth, the bricks, the tiles in the hearth needed to be cleaned. And then we went back, since the color had just been burned right out of it, we hand painted the tiles, the bricks, excuse me, to be representative of the original colors. And then everything was given a low luster clear coat that can hold up to high temperatures and high traffic in the hearth area. And so there's the finished product. As far as the fireplace tools, where it was possible, we repaired them, painted them if needed, but for the most part, they were just cleaned and then rubbed down with grapeseed oil to protect them. And I should say that the fireplace tools on the left, that was handmade specifically for the house, and it's a gem. It's a very, very special. So when you do get to go back, you need to take a special look at that. It's got a little flower on the top. Onto the balcony. This was the view on that day in 2017. And you can get a little glimpse of the condition of the chandelier there, and the windows and walls and ceiling, everything. This is just a broad picture I took when we first started working on the wall repairs. This again is another good example of wall repair, and then some areas where we've given it a skim coat, and you look on the left at the chandelier. This is our artist, Liz, doing a Michelangelo painting upside down, because that was the only way. There was a lot of body contortioning to get to some of the areas that we had to get to on the upper level. So this was her way. And yes, she's using a really tiny artist's brush, because that's the kind of work we do. A lot of areas had really detailed work like that. And this is painting the door upstairs on the balcony as well. On the right, you'll see the doorbell or door chimes. That's with the cap removed. These are the parts that we extracted, the fascia plate and the metal poles for the chimes. The innards were repaired to be functional. Unfortunately, there's no power going to the doorbell, so it doesn't work, but it can if we can ultimately get electricity to it. We work with a brass plater who plated and then antiqued the chandeliers and the door chimes. So that's what we used to test it, and that's the finished product. We were fortunate enough to have all the renderings available to us for the chandelier. So I just had to share this because there are renderings of all the fixtures. All the fixtures are custom made. And what we've deduced is these were not, they didn't end up using cut glass chimneys. They ended up with the frosted band chimney that is consistent throughout the house. But I love this rendering. So from that rendering to what we found when we first moved in, this is also the upper balcony one. You can see metal's bent, chimneys are broken. It was, oh my God, it must have been dropped a few times. We took everything apart in the chandeliers and the wall sconces. Everything was inventoried like this, and then we brought it to our brass plater, our polisher, and the pieces were either plated or polished, in this case plated. Also the wood baubles, I'll call them, were all hand painted over again. This is the assembly process on our dining room table and a folding table. Everything was rewired. Those are LED lights. And that I should just give a shout out to our employee, Lupe, who's been with us for almost 30 years. And this job would not have happened without him. He's a master of all trades, really incredible. So that was a picture of him hanging the chandeliers. This is the finish, the chandeliers being hung. And that's when they're not on. So you see the color difference when they're not on the wall sconce. And these are just some finishing pictures once we removed the balcony support and we hung the chandeliers. And there you go. So that's what the room looks like.
Thank you so much, Hyra. What I'd like to do now, folks you can still type in your questions in the Q&A box, but I wanted to pose a question or two to Hyra and perhaps Dave if he wants to weigh in as well. A little while back, you mentioned that you had a scenic artist working on the painting. Can you talk a little bit about the background and the experience of your team and how that applies to restoring this historic room?
So we've sort of lived two lives in parallel. Personally, we love to do home restoration. And should I stop the sharing, or I can leave this picture up for now?
It's up to you, whatever you prefer.
I'll leave it up for a moment.
So
our private lives, we love to do home restoration. We live in a home that was actually built before that was restored. Our home down the block from the Rancho was 1924, and David grew up in a historic area in New York, upstate New York, where the homes are built in the 16 and 1700s. So that's a love of ours. But we've been in the entertainment industry for a long time, designing and building scenery for rock and roll tours, theatrical productions, corporate events. And so we like to work with carpenters that are not only have true carpentry and cabinetry skills, but also can build scenery which involve different techniques. Our view is that this rancho is sort of a combination of both. In the case of the ceiling, we can't just have a painter, a house painter. I'm not denigrating them, but we need somebody that had this subtlety and understand how to make it look like it was newly painted and newly stained and newly finished in 1930. So that's why we brought in our scenic artists. The same thing for the fireplace and so many other areas that we worked on. It required more of an artist's hand. And also with the carpenters, they just have a wider variety of skills. And we also have a really great secondhand, our language, we trust them. And so that's why we decided to work with the people that we chose.
Well, it makes a lot of sense to me. It's been an absolute pleasure working with your team on this project, both your attention to detail from a historic perspective, but also from an artistic perspective. So I want to thank you very much for your presentation, and I will hand it over to Megan.
Thank you.
I'm back with a new view of the rancho. Hyra and George, oh my goodness, it's such an incredible pleasure to see that transformation. As Allison said earlier, they also worked on the Llewellyn Bixby II's bedroom. I don't know if you all know, but that used to be my office for about a dozen years, but it wasn't just my office. I shared it with Jan Schaefer. It was the education and volunteer department. It was craft station. It was a lot of stuff, but to see it restored, that was incredible for me. And to see the work that they're continuing to do. They're patient, they're informed, and they're incredibly loving care. We could not have a better team. Thank you. Now for the volunteers, it's time to take a walk down kind of a different memory lane. We wanted to know in our next poll a little bit more about when and why you first came to the Rancho. So we're launching a poll now. There are 2 questions. The first one is kind of how old you were when you came to the Rancho. And the second one was why you came. You'll have to scroll all the way down to the very bottom. While you're doing that, I thought I would let you know why I first came. I came a long time ago. I came with my son, Aiden. He was 4. I came on a tour of the Rancho because I had just applied for a job at the Rancho and I wanted to make sure I knew what on earth I was in for. So that was my first visit. My second visit was in the library, had a job interview. And then a few months later, I had the incredible opportunity to be part of our Victorian Spring Fair. We used to have those on the 3rd Saturday, I think, in May. Well, at this one, Aiden was incredibly charmed, enthralled, you might say, watching magical Marcia, our one and only Marcia Harris, as she was making goldfish appear and disappear inside a tent in the backyard there. And that same day, my older son, Jager, who was then 7, came straight from a baseball game. And luckily he was on the Dodger team that year because he won our blueberry pie eating contest. Jager had on a blue and white uniform, and then he had blueberry drips all over him, and the rest of the season, it just sort of melted in with the Dodger blue, so that was fortunate. He still wears a uniform today. Some of you know he's in the Army, so now he washes his own uniforms. He's probably better at it than I've ever been. We have just a few more people who might want to vote, and then we're going to end the polling. So again, it's how old you were when you first came and what the reason was that you came, if you remember. All right, we got 1 more vote in, 2 more. We're down to the wire. Why don't we go ahead and share the results?
And we have from the chat, Sally, who is now our museum shop extraordinaire. She came to the Rancho because her daughter Kim was an intern, and we needed a new manager, and Kim kind of signed Sally up. So we're very happy that she did that, Sally. And Elizabeth,
I didn't get that on the list.
Elizabeth came for a Christmas open house in the 1960s.
Wow, and now she plays one of the sisters. I'm guessing that's Elizabeth from our school tour program. Yeah. Let's see, most of you came as an adult and a fair number of you came as a child, and some of you not until you retired, but we're happy to have all of you. I will say we have fewer college and high school students visiting today, so that's probably par for the course. We have 1 on the line who came there. Why did you first come? Well, most of you came to take a tour or for a field trip. It's about almost a third of you. Some of you to stroll, to volunteer. Oh, Sally, you'll be shocked to know that nobody first came to shop, but I know they all found that museum shop when they got there. Some of you came for a public event, and some of you came for other reasons. Krista, do you have anything to add from YouTube?
Kristen shared that Sandra visited the Rancho after contacting Laura because she wanted to volunteer at a museum because she's interested in pursuing a career in museums. And Gabby first visited the Rancho in October for an interview to be an intern for our outreach education program. And Brian came for a Christmas event and remembers making a Christmas wreath with the Italian cypress as a craft.
Awesome. We all come for different reasons and we all stick around. That's the best part of it. All right, let's see. I'm going to hand it back to Laura.
Unmute. Yes, hi. So we are going to move on with a wonderful slideshow that Alana has put together. I'm really excited to see. But before we do, I have some very sad news to share with you. A longtime volunteer that we have all been missing for almost a year now, as she regularly came to do garden crafts, work in the visitor center, and work with curation. Kathleen Tierney has been fighting leukemia, and when I called her daughter on Easter, I heard the sad news that she had succumbed. So that is very sad, but we'll get to see her in some of these pictures, and we all remember her very fondly.
So amidst the sad news like that and some of the just stress and uncertainty that we're in, we want to bring a little positivity and some memories. I know that everyone's missing the Rancho, both the site itself, but also the people who we're used to seeing and the community that we all share there. So I wanted to take a minute to share some old photographs. So it's a little walk down memory lane from hopefully all of your time here. And again, you can feel free to share comments in the chat section. If anything stirs up a memory, we'd love to hear that. All right. So it looks like we got some comments. So I will go back through some of these. Floyd said that they first came to the Rancho for the 2003 Christmas program. Barbara Blackwell came to visit her grandmother. Tessa was fondly remembering the table making. And we've got Gregory saying, don't it always seem to go, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. I really feel that right now. I'm kind of a homebody, so I didn't go out that much anyway before the restrictions, but now that I can't, it just feels so restricting. And then just people are enjoying it, so I'm glad. I hope that sparked some fond memories for you. I know it did for me, seeing them. And then I will try to pull up, I know some of you were wondering who Kathleen was, and I'll pull up a picture and I'll share it a little bit later. And speaking of the restrictions and the safer at home time, I also asked for you all to share some words that you thought described your experience during the safer at home time, and we created a word cloud, which I will share now. And if you have not seen a word cloud before, it's made up of the words that people submitted, and the larger a word is, the more it was shared, so it shows the frequency. So you know there is some boredom and anxiety, but people are also finding the time to maybe pursue passions like gardening, reading, needlepoint, spending time with family. So that's fun to see as well.
Rhonda, does that mean we're all reading in our sweatpants in the garden?
Probably. I know I am. So we can, when we send out the link to view this to everyone who is here and who couldn't make it, we can send the image too if you'd like to see it a little more later. So I know that this is not really how any of us were expecting to be spending our spring right now. So I'm really looking forward to getting back on site, and hopefully when we all get to see each other in person. And one of the things that's really exciting about coming back to the site is some of the 1930s changes that are being made, which we saw a little bit with Hyra, but I know there's more in store. And in that vein, we have a little activity for everyone. So I'm going to turn it over now to Marie and Sarah.
Okay, everyone. Now it is time for a pop quiz. Now it's just a game, don't worry. But to go along with these 1930s room restorations, we thought it would be fun to find out what you know about 1930s America. So in this pop quiz, there are 6 questions, and you'll have to scroll down through all the questions to see them all and answer them all, and then hit submit once you're done. But even if you don't know much about the 1930s or the Great Depression, there is no penalty for guessing, so please have some fun and guess. And I'll bet you know more than you think you do. So just have fun with it. And for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, you can participate as well. So you can just type in your answers into the comment box on YouTube.
Okay, I get to read you the questions. So I want to explain that not everybody has the visuals. So I will actually be reading each of the questions. Are you ready, Mallory? We're working on it? Okay. Do you know what was prohibited on Sundays in Long Beach right up until 1932? It was a leisure activity. Take your best guess and vote for it. The next one is, what was the federal minimum wage in 1938?
Sorry, Marie, to interrupt, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knows you have to submit your answers to all 6 at the same time.
Fair enough. And when you want to submit, after we've gone through all 6, the submit will be at the very bottom, just like the last ones. What pilot was the first to fly solo over the Pacific? The pilot departed from Honolulu to landed in Oakland in 1935. What pilot was it? Walt Disney produced an animated feature-length film with color and sound in 1937. What was the title of this movie? Forbes magazine published the Toy of the Decade. What toy took top honors for the 1930s? And the last and final question. FDR hosted a radio program that reached out to the American public. What were those radio talks called? Do we have any comments from the chat, Alana?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hey, Marie, it looks like about 80% of our attendees and panelists have voted. I'm gonna give you guys a few, like 2 more minutes to make your best guess and see if we get any responses from our YouTube chat. I know Krista's taken a look, on closer eye on those, so we'll see if she has anything for us. But go ahead and give you another minute or 2.
Okay.
If
Right.
you're not in, you
Had any new answers yet, so I'm going to go ahead and close it if that's cool with everybody else.
We had a YouTube vote that was guessing Earl Doherty for the flying question.
we also had a question from somebody calling in, and I'm sorry, you won't be able to vote on this poll if you're calling in.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it now.
Okay. So the popular leisure activity time, the 76% said dancing, and they were in fact correct. Dancing was not allowed on a Sunday. Question number 2, the nation's first national minimum wage, it has 59% at 10 cents, 34% at 25 cents, 7% at 75 cents. The correct answer was, in fact, 25 cents. Question number 3. I can't see it. Can you scroll down, Mallory?
Marie, I think you have to scroll down.
I don't have anything. Oh, okay. Okay, I can scroll down. I do have the power. Who was the first person to fly solo across the Pacific Ocean? We have 21% saying Charles Lindbergh, 17% saying Amelia Earhart, and 62% saying Earl Doherty. Well, I'm shocked actually that you guys didn't get that, that more of you didn't get that. It was Amelia Earhart, one of my favorite heroines. We don't have time for me to go on and talk about Amelia Earhart. Question number 4. Can you name Disney's first feature-length animated all-color movie? And we have 21% with Fantasia, 3% at Dumbo, 76% at Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is in fact the correct answer. Well done. Question number 5. Which of the following did Forbes magazine call toy of the 1930s? We have 38% for Monopoly, 48% for Erector Set, 14% for Viewmaster. I have to tell you, I got this one wrong as well when I viewed this. The correct answer is the Viewmaster. It could take you to exotic faraway lands where you sat in your easy chair. A real shocking new concept for the 1930s. Question number 6. What was the name of FDR's popular radio talks? We had 100% for Fireside Chats. Well done, folks. You've done a terrific job. I hope you had as much fun as we did.
All right. Well done, Marie and everyone. Thank you for playing along. We know that Rancho Los Cerritos is special to you. It's special to me. That's why I'm popping around the rancho with my different virtual backgrounds. We're in the courtyard right there, and I can see an incredibly lovely tree. We thought this time we would ask you your favorite tree at the rancho. You can choose any tree, really, if you choose the chat box, but go ahead and vote among Moreton Bay Fig, Italian Cypress, that Osage orange that dumps the green brain fruit on our car in the parking lot, the Grand Dame, the pomegranate, the California pepper and the funny stories we have about that, the beautiful smelling rose apple. Well, I guess there's also a beautiful smelling black locust on this poll. A lot of you are voting. You just get to choose one this time. So when you voted for your favorite tree at the rancho, please press submit so we'll know you're ready to go. We're going to call it in about 10 seconds. I know you want to vote for 2. Mallory, why don't you go ahead and share the results? It is the Moreton Bay Fig that 57% of you chose, but the Osage Orange, I guess you haven't been pelted by it. The black locust, that's probably blooming right now, right, Marie? It's really incredible. All right, now we're going to jump into the house, and we are going to ask you your favorite exhibit room in the house. You can choose the Mayor Domo room, the laundry room, either of the storerooms. You can just click that button. Dining room, the parlor, one of the bedrooms, the sun porch, the library, the veranda. There are incredible rooms, and this doesn't even count any of our new rooms. I wonder what Sarah's favorite room in the house is. I wonder what Marie's favorite tree in the garden is. A few people are still undecided or haven't clicked submit yet.
Mallory did share that she has more trees weren't an option from the poll.
Well, they're an option in my picture or in the chat box.
Robert, our docent extraordinaire, has asked, how can you pick one with multiple question marks? A valid question. And Sarah said it's tough for her to say, but she'd have to say the parlor because it helps her imagine life in the 1870s.
Hey, Alana, what's your favorite room?
It is a difficult choice. Probably the foreman's room, getting to discuss the earlier history. And I like to gross people out with the tallow, personally.
There you go.
And Allison likes the blacksmith shop.
It's hard to choose one. Mallory, do you want to share the poll?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it now.
The bedroom one. Well, that was 2 rooms merged into one. So maybe that's why it got 20% of the vote, tied with the library for another 20% of the vote. Kind of like the library with that old card catalog in there. But we now have a third poll for you. This is our very final poll on what's your favorite thing about the rancho. This one actually We're going to ask you what you missed the most. Now hold on, don't check submit until you have clicked all that you miss about the Rancho, or what you missed most about the Rancho. You can add in the chat box, of course. The ones that we're putting on the list include the volunteers, the visitors, the gardens, the programs, the volunteer opportunities, the Serenity, other, use the chat box.
Brian misses the Orno. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, wasn't that in the slideshow? Brian cooking in the Orno, no wonder he misses it.
And apparently this poll is only allowing them to vote one time.
Oh, you can click on all that apply, but you have, once you press submit, that's all. I might not have set it up right. Maybe it doesn't allow you to vote more than one item.
We have Cordia in the Q&A saying that she misses everything and everybody on the list with a big smiley face.
Oh, Cordia. I apologize if I didn't set that up right, but you can tell us your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth thing you miss about the Rancho in the chat box. We'll give you another few seconds, 10 or 15 more seconds to vote.
Tessa misses the beautiful smells because it's so incredibly fragrant, especially this time of year. And Elizabeth Hernandez misses the children who are seeing it for the first time. And Sarah misses staff, volunteers, and those ducks who I know are enjoying the pond these days. I'm sure they're going wild. Tessa also misses the ducks. Nevada echoes the ducks, and I too miss the ducks, I will admit.
Krista, anything to add from YouTube?
Floyd and Nancy like the visitors, volunteers, and the programs. And Elizabeth Hernandez is requesting a photo of the black locust in bloom, Marie, if we have one of those.
Should we go ahead and end the polling, Mallory?
Yep.
All right, hands down, it's the volunteers that you miss the most, and lots of other stuff as well.
We have a couple more comments from the chat. Barbara checked all of them, but wishes she could see the garden in bloom, which resonates with me too. Vicky really loves the serenity of the gardens, but also misses the people. I don't even know if I want to tell Marie. She even misses the squirrels. And Terry misses the wonderful children.
Alana, Ron Reese says he wants all of the options.
Wonderful.
Maybe he misses the serenity of his house, who knows?
It's not serene.
All right, we have so appreciated you playing along. Without too much further ado, we're going to pass it back to Allison and then open it up for all of you.
All right, everyone. I want to give this opportunity to call on the staff and board who would like to talk for about 30 seconds. Tell us where you're zooming in from, how you're doing. And if you just prefer to pass, just wave when I get to you. You'll need to start your video so we can see you. Also, please unmute yourself before starting to speak. And those controls should be in the lower left corner of your screen. So Sarah, why don't you kick us off with that?
Hi, everyone. I miss you all very much. This is so great that we can check in. I have been enjoying time at home, working remotely, and spending lots of time with my little 7-month-old right here.
Awesome. What about you, Andrina?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I miss you all. Hope you guys are all well and staying safe. I'm doing well here, working from home, spending time with family. I'm enjoying it and wishing you all well.
Claire?
I miss going to the site every day and just being a part of that beauty and that experience. I do wish you all well and hope you're staying safe and well. Thank you.
Perkins.
Hi, everybody. I am here in San Pedro And I have actually been coming to the Rancho 2 days a week with Marie to cut up all the fruit on the tree so it doesn't go bad. So all of those of you who have worried about our jam, that it's going to still be being made. So don't worry about that. We got you.
Jan?
Hi, everyone. We're enjoying being at home, staying safe, and spending a lot of time with our new puppy, who is a bundle of joy and a lot of work.
Tessa?
Hi, good evening. I had to find the unmute there for a second. I was inspired by Jan, and so I've taken all this extra time at home to foster a senior dog. She's not with me now because I'm actually at my boyfriend's home getting ready to make dinner, but she's been an absolute joy and really wonderful company to have during this. So it's so good to see everybody's names in the attendee list, and I can't wait to see you all again.
Megan?
I have had a lot of fun not commuting, but I totally missed the Rancho, which is why I put these different backgrounds on. It was fun to be able to share in tonight, and I'm working on plans for when we return and how we return. And I think many people are going to be just so thrilled to return, even though we've needed to have this distance for a while. My dog loves it, I'll say that. But it's kind of weird working at home.
All right, Susan.
I'm at home, working from home, doing a lot more housework than I would like. But my family's well everywhere. They're across the country and they're all well. And I hope that that's true for all of you. I miss the Rancho. I'd really love to see the gardens, but I do find that I'm seeing things in my own yard and my neighborhood that I hadn't noticed before on the many walks that I take. So finding the good parts.
Alfred.
Like everyone else, I miss all you guys and can't wait to see you guys soon, hopefully. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy and happy, and hope to see everyone soon. Take care.
All right, Sue? Sue, unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Okay, then you didn't hear me earlier. I spoke over Susan. I guess I didn't. Hi, everyone. Wishing you and your families well. Hoping you stay safe and happy, healthy, and safe. And look forward to seeing you soon at the Rancho.
Thanks. Vicky.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I've been hanging around the house as everyone else, doing none of my long-term plans that, you know, the ones you say, oh, if I only had time, I'd get these done. And I'm so appreciative, Erin, of you guys doing the loquats because I hate doing them. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Jean?
I just want to say that this was such a privilege to be able to be at the Rancho virtually tonight. That was really fun, and thank you all for the work you put into it. It just reinforces my knowledge that everyone really cares about the Rancho, and that really helps make this isolation really not so isolating, this getting to see each other and hear you talk. I've only seen 2 people in this group no, 3. I've seen Barbara, but we can't see her because her camera's not working on her computer somehow. But at any rate, I have seen Claire and Tessa. Some of you may have seen the picture of the 3 of us having social distance meeting out in Claire's front yard a week or so ago, and she and I are talking about maybe we ought to plan another one. It was such fun. But I'm sorry I can't see all the rest of you, and look forward to seeing you at the Rancho very soon. Thanks.
Barbara.
Hi, I think my video is working all right.
It is.
Okay, good. Well, just so nice to see everyone. I know how hard you all are working and the care that you all have for the Rancho, and what I was blown away with was I had no idea that George and Hyra were redoing the living room. I mean, that was amazing because I have a visual image of it in my mind from way back when I was a little girl. So to see it come to fruition is really very exciting. But I'm well and getting out to walk my dog every day, and I've cleaned out a closet. I'm going through pictures. So I have been able to do a few things that I didn't have time for. So anyway, stay well to all of you, and I hope we'll see each other in person soon.
What about you, Krista?
So I've been trying to keep busy at home to not go crazy. So my garden's kind of tripled in size, and I've been sending Marie lots of pictures every time something blooms. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Gabby, our Long Beach intern, who's tuning in on YouTube. And she says she's been feeling very lucky to be able to come to the garden and work with Marie, and that it's very beautiful right now. And I just can't wait till we all get to enjoy it together.
Great. How about you, Alana, our narrator for tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. The worst I've been dealing with is just kind of boredom and being a little stir crazy. I have been wanting to try to learn the piano, and so that's why this keyboard is here, because I thought this is an opportunity. It's not going great, but I'm trying. And like everyone else, I miss all of you. I really can't wait to see all of the staff and board and volunteers, hopefully soon. And I hope that everyone is staying well.
Marie?
I am truly blessed that I'm allowed to come to the Rancho twice a week. And the maintenance crew and I are doing our level best to make sure that when we reopen, it doesn't look like it's gone to seed. I have to say, I cannot do in 2 days what all of my wonderful volunteers can get accomplished. And I miss you as people. I miss you as extra hands. I miss your shared laughter and the love that we share when we're there. It's just an astonishing experience to work with the volunteers who are willing to get grubby, gritty, dirty, sweaty, and still come back the next week. You guys are amazing. But I am also working on stuff at home. So I am constantly with the Rancho on my mind. I really miss the volunteers. I'm looking forward to getting everybody back together. I get a thrill every time a staff person calls me and says, hey, we need some help, but can you do this or can you do that? And it's just like, oh, thank God I can stand up from weeding. Yes, give me more toys, give me more chores. So yes, thank you very much. I'm happy to help any way that I can. And I look forward to having everybody come back and see the garden.
All right, Mallory?
Hi, everybody. I am doing well here at home. Travis and I have just kind of hunkered in at our little apartment that we have with our dog. I've been learning a lot of new skills. If you haven't seen any of the Long Beach videos, I've been helping work on those. So it kind of shifted what I do at the Rancho, but it's been really rewarding, and I've learned quite a lot and discovered some new things about myself. So that's been really interesting, being able to kind of do a deep dive into what I'm good at. So yeah.
How about you, Laura?
I've been working on transcribing our docent manuals, and I miss everybody a lot, and I've been having time to pull a lot more weeds, but it's impossible, but I keep working at it. And I've been really glad that it's been spring and all these walks and appreciating all the flowers. It's been really nice.
I think I got everyone, so I'll conclude before I turn it back over to Lana. I miss everybody and everything about the Rancho. I feel very privileged. I get to go in on Mondays for a few hours and walk around and take photos. Things I guess I like about working from home is I like the 1-minute commute. But I'm more than happy to go back to the longer commute at any time that we can do that. But it's fantastic to see everyone on this webinar Zoom call tonight. So thank you all for absolutely everything. And I know we're going to keep these going, and it's great. It gives me a lot of positive attitude and hope as we move forward through these new times. So thank you all so incredibly much. So I think we had Alan. I don't see him on here anymore. But I think with that, Alana, I'm going to turn it back to you.
All right, everyone. It is the moment you've all been waiting for, our social time.
Okay, so now it's time to hear from you. We'd like for you to wave if you want to have your turn to talk, and we'll call on you and you unmute yourself. And if you can tell us one positive thing that's come out of stay at home for you, or let us know how you're doing. We'd love to do that. So, who would like to go? I see Terry holding up a finger. So unmute yourself, Terry, and let us know.
So let's get this Rancho open sooner than later. One positive thing is my garage is looking like Home Depot. Everything is organized. There isn't anything out of place.
That's great, Terry. Who would like to go next? The Phillips.
Yes, both of us. Can you hear us?
Are we unmuted?
I hear you. I see the tops of your heads.
Yes, the chairs are low.
Yeah, low chairs.
We've been learning French every day. We study French, something we wanted to do for a while. We're sort of getting there, not fluent yet.
You think we want to learn Spanish because it's the general language is spoken in our Rancho, if it's not English. But I have a family that's full of French-speaking people, so
we're finally catching up. And some of you volunteers who we miss everybody are on our Facebook page, and Lloyd spent the last 4 weeks building a gorgeous table out of raw edged elm for our living room, and it is absolutely gorgeous. He finished it yesterday. So now we can come out of quarantine. We're done with our project.
Wonderful. Okay, who wants to go next? Is that your hand up, Gregory? Unmute yourself.
Not really, but thank you, Laura. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for all I have to tell you, the curatorial work just really touched my heart because it just shows the love that everybody has for the Rancho. And, you know, like the Joni, like I put it in the chat, don't know what you got till it's gone, you know? And I know we'll be back, but that was probably the first, I don't know, I felt like I was getting punished, you know, but I knew it was the right thing, and I've stayed home, safe at home, and I completely went nuts going around town, taping out 6 feet. I could see COVID everywhere. So people were not social distancing, and I just went nuts at the school and just everywhere, and just tried to get visuals. And anyway, so then after getting around all the whole community and getting it all taped up and burning out, I came home and said, well, you better take care of your house and do all those things that I've heard other people say they were going to put off and never did. So now I've got all my projects all ready to go. I'm working on, so because of the Rancho, I got to tell you, I'll close this really short. I've saved all of the letters from my family that I've received over the years, from as far back as 1991. And so I come from a family of 10 kids. And I wrote back, I digitized them all for my aunts and my mom and my dad and my sisters and brothers. And well, I'm going to digitize them. And I'm currently working on my youngest brother who spent 2 years at the Peace Corps. And he journaled almost every day. So I've got like 50 pages so far of his Peace Corps experience. And then I've got one more year to go through to get, but anyway, so it's really, I get to get on my brother and my family a lot better because they all live elsewhere. And I'm the only one in California. So it's getting me a chance to connect to my family on a very personal level again, the letters that they wrote to me. So, and being happy with my spouse, and my cat more or less is very happy that I'm home because she gets a lot of attention. So
Yeah, I think all of our pets are very happy. That sounds like a great project, Gregory. Who would like to go next? Come on, let's see a hand up. Linnea?
Diana Trombley is raising her hand.
Okay, Diana Trombley.
Well, I've been self-quarantined for about 5 weeks now. So I said to myself, what can I do? And I've wanted to do a photography project for approximately 5 or 6 years. And what I am doing is putting together all the countries my husband and I have been to, which is 138. And the title of the project is called One World, Many People. And I think it's very, very, very poignant about what's going on now. My husband and I have made a decision many years ago to photograph all the minority tribes in the world. So I think we pretty much covered all of them, 20 African countries, 24 Asian countries, all over all the continents, and shared with many, many people their political views, their interaction between us and the indigenous people. And it's a long project. We take about 12,000 photographs each time. And it's going to take me many, many weeks to finish the project, but I'm very happy, and it connects me with people all over the world, and it makes me feel good at this time. And I love seeing everybody, and the new room is fantastic. So thank you.
All right, anybody else? Who's next? Ina Levin, unmute yourself. Ina is a fairly new volunteer. I'm so glad to see you here tonight.
Thank you. Well, I'm really excited. Watching this has made me get really excited about being able to do some things when everything reopens. It's a very, just looks like a really congenial group, and I'm very excited to be able to be part of it. In terms of what I've been doing, I had a grandma book that I had to get finished because I have a 22-month-old granddaughter, and I've been saying, okay, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. I have one thing left to do, and you'll appreciate it. Find a baby picture of me, and then the book is done. So that's how I've been spending my isolation time.
Wonderful. Sounds like a great project. Who's next? Come on, somebody. Okay, now Linnea.
Oh, since you called me out before, Laura, thanks a lot. I've been really enjoying the isolation with my family. Usually my husband's at work, my kids are at school, and now everything's done at home. My husband has his office at my dining room table. And I'm also enjoying FaceTiming my brother and sister more than I ever have before this isolation. And I just want to say this was such a great idea. I love the Zoom, and I'm so happy and excited to see everybody. And I hope we can see each other soon rather than later.
Me too.
Laura, before we move on to another person that's on video, we do have Marcia on call only, and I just wanted to see if we could check in to see if she wants to say anything since she doesn't have the option to raise her hand.
Okay, Marcia.
Sorry.
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you, Marcia.
Well, good, because I kept trying every other way to go on, but finally I just said I'll call on the phone part. At least I could hear it, so at least I got to hear everything. So thanks for having it that way as well. But I wanted to see everything more, but I'll look at it when you get it done. But it's been great, and then I wanted to answer that I went there as a child, and I wanted to answer all those questions because I knew all those answers, and I didn't get to answer anything, but at least I get to hear it, so I'm happy, and at least I'm alive to complain about the Zoom not working. So thanks. But
well,
I took pictures to send to you so you can see, because I did everything right, and I even called my smart home people to help me over the phone, and they said I did everything right, but they said the link wasn't active enough to get to what Alana's, and then I had to sign in on Zoom alone, and we did that, and we couldn't. So I'm going to work it by the next time you have this, or better yet, I hope you see everybody without having to do it on the internet. But it was good seeing everybody's dog and hearing about all the dogs, because my dog misses going to the rancho.
Well, we miss your dog too, and we miss you.
Thanks.
Who else? Tom. Go ahead. I have to unmute yourself.
Here we go.
Nope. There you go.
Okay. I miss everybody. I've seen a lot of new faces since I'm a newest face. I'm looking forward to meeting more of you people. And I miss Megan's wonderful training for docent. I've been reading every day, 2 or 3 hours, and doing a lot of gardening, lots of weeds, but with weeds are a lot of beautiful flowers too. So I miss everybody. Looking forward to wonderful times ahead. Take care.
You too. Who else? How about Nevada? Tell us what it's like in Japan.
Got it. It's cold.
Oh.
It's been really windy and rainy. When we first got here, it was freezing, but that didn't last very long, happily. Things have started to get worse in this area, actually, coronavirus-wise. Like, not really bad. We've actually been behind the US, so we weren't doing social distancing. David was still going into work, but his company is making preparations to have everybody start working from home. And my grocery store, my local grocery store, just put up those like plastic sneeze guard things and stuff. So like the plague has finally arrived at my door. I've been avoiding it for a while. But I've been okay. I've been a little bit lonely because I've been studying Japanese every day, but I'm still not conversational really. And half the time I'm awake, everybody I know in the US is asleep. So, but I've been drawing every day and trying to read. Our stuff all just arrived from ocean freight over this weekend. So we unpacked it and I've got like a bunch of books and DVDs and my computer and stuff that I didn't have for the first month and a half I was here. So it's nice to have it. It was good to see everybody. I miss you guys.
Good to see you, Nevada.
Thanks.
All right. Anybody else want to wave their hand at me? Anybody else let us know you'd like to talk? Elizabeth. Unmute yourself. Down in the left-hand corner, see the microphone? Click on it. There you go.
So I've been joining in with the Carpenter Centers. Marcia, I believe, is doing, she hasn't been reading for it, but she's been a participant, listening in. The Carpenter Center has a weekly Shakespeare reading, and we're going to be starting Pericles this Thursday. So if anybody is interested, I'd be happy to pass that link along. So it's a lot of fun. And so there you have signups. They send out the signups for the different parts, and so we read that over Zoom. And my husband is a musician, and he's been learning to play with his band via Zoom, and it's an excuse to buy more equipment. That's an addiction for musicians. So having various creative projects, and that's very nice. We're kind of house mouses anyway, so this is not a big deal for us.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Who else? Who hasn't talked yet? Wave your hand at me.
Hey, Laura, if someone doesn't have their video on, you can maybe call on them, and if they want to unmute themselves and say hi, and just in case they don't want to share their video, that would be an option.
Okay. I see Laura's here. She has her picture. Would you like to share with us?
Hi.
There she is. Hi.
Hi. Yeah. As you know, I'm one of the newest garden volunteers, so I was just getting started, and like someone else said, I'm really excited to go further with this group and spend more time at the Rancho. And the one thing I would share, I always was, I was doing yoga for years at Free Spirit Yoga in Atlantic, but they were one of the first ones to do yoga by Zoom. So now I do it every day. And it's really been helping me, to structure your day, that I feel like I'm going to class every day. So I highly recommend it if anybody wants to join Free Spirit. She, there's no limit to the number of participants. And it's just like this. You can either block yourself out or you can join in. So looking forward to, and like someone else said too, I really I'm so disappointed that I'm missing some of these blooming things, because I was excited, like the black locust. I was like, oh, I wonder what that's going to look like. And so we'll see it. I'll have next year.
Wonderful.
That's it. Thanks.
And I'm so glad you got in a day of volunteering before this all happened, and she gave 3 garden tours on her very first day. So she's all broken in. Yes.
Yeah. I just hope I don't forget everything.
All right. Who else haven't we heard from? I saw Gail Watts. Did you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. I've been keeping myself busy here, trying to manage my Girl Scout, Boy Scout troop, and working in the yard. Actually doing a lot more cooking than I've ever done before. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I'll know when we step on the scale. But other than that, that's about all we've got going on. I can't wait to get back. My normal work schedule has got me all confused, so I sleep too late and stay up too late and do things I shouldn't do. But it's a new life, so we live it that way. So look forward to seeing everybody.
We look forward to seeing you too. Oh, Susan's holding up her hand. All right, Susan, unmute yourself. No, you're.
Can you?
There you go.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that I miss you all and miss being there and the serenity of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet.
Oh, Vicky's holding up her hand. Unmute yourself.
Hi, I just wanted to, I forgot all about it, but I wanted to congratulate Jenny on getting the Sarah Bixby Award. I think that was a wonderful choice.
Good. I'm sure everybody wants to. Everybody's clapping. Okay, well, I think it's time we wrap this all up. Thank you all for attending our first ever virtual gathering. Our volunteers, I think we're pretty well, and I'm really excited so many of you showed up. And I'm really happy that you're here today.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to the Georges for giving us all a sneak peek at the room restorations, even while we can't currently be on the site.
And I really want to thank my fellow volunteer or fellow staff members that made this happen. Alana putting together the slideshow and making those great instructions for you. Mallory with the technical assistance, Krista monitoring YouTube, and Megan getting this all together and organizing it. They did it all, and they did a great job, I think. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree, Laura. And for all of you, we cannot wait to see you back at the Rancho this summer. Meanwhile, as you've heard, we've been putting some really amazing, great virtual content online. You can look for it on our website or our Facebook page. Marie is there with some fascinating garden spotlights. Sarah has started a virtual story time. And we also have our Tongva exhibit is online, thanks to Krista and Sarah. And our second Long Ago Long Beach workshop, a virtual classroom for elementary school children, went live today. So thank you to the Long Ago Long Beach staff for quickly filming these right before we close. And to Mallory, Mallory is our site use coordinator. Turns out she had a incredibly hidden but much needed essential skill at being a film editor. So thank you, Mallory, for doing a tremendous job editing our videos. We've got 2 up and 6 more will be rolled out over the coming weeks. And more details are located in the April quick notes.
We also plan to have another virtual gathering in May, so we'll let you know more about that again in the May quick notes, so look for that in your inboxes. Also, we can host smaller Zooms for different volunteer groups, so if you have an interest in doing that, let me know and we can arrange that.
And in the next few days, we'll be sending a request for feedback to all the Zoom participants about the format and content of tonight's gathering. We super appreciate your suggestions. And if you participated via YouTube Live, or if you watch the video afterwards, you'll hear my voice saying this, you can send your feedback directly to Laura or to any staff via email. And I want to give a huge thanks to all of our staff for making tonight possible and for all you volunteers for logging in. Special thanks to Susan and all of our board members too, who have been working with me to ensure the Rancho stays afloat during these unprecedented times. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I so look forward to seeing everyone on site as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, everybody. Goodbye.
Hey, everyone.
Hopefully see you soon.